you how much you can spend on certain goods with the limited amount of money that you have. Okay, in these questions you can pick between two goods and you have a certain amount of money. So that amount of money that you have is going to be your constraint. Okay, it means you cannot spend over that money because you don't have extra. You can only spend that amount or less. Okay, so this is the budget constraint equation, right? Let me just put it like this. Yes. Okay, so this is how the equation is. Your income, equals the price of good X multiplied by the quantity of good X plus the price of good Y multiplied by the quantity of good Y. Okay. So just the same as when you go to a shop, let's say you have got a 10 kwacha, okay? Then you can only spend your money on two goods. That's the scenario we're putting here. Okay? You have a certain amount of money and you can only spend it on two goods. Okay? You cannot spend above the money that you have. You can only spend below it. Okay? So the income is here like this. Okay, colleagues, this PXX plus PYY, PXX, that's the price of good X. Okay. That's the price of good X. Then this X here, this is the quantity. Right. Then PYY, this is the price of good Y, and this Y is the quantity of good Y. Okay. This is the budget constraint equation, and then this I represents your income. Okay. You can only spend the amount of money that you have and less. You cannot go above that income. Alright? So this is the budget constraint equation, colleagues. Alright? Whenever they ask you, make a budget constraint equation, it has to be in this format here. Okay? Then this is how it looks graphically. Okay? If you plot this graph, plot this as a graph, this is how it's going to look. Okay. Think of this line here as the limit. You can't go beyond this limit. Alright. This I over PY, okay, which is also called your y-intercept, so in mathematics an intercept is where the line cuts an axis. Okay, so where the budget line cuts the y-axis, that is your y-intercept. What this y-intercept is telling us is if we only buy good y, how many units we can get. Okay, if we only buy units we can get. This is what this y-intercept is saying. If we only buy good y, how many units we get? And then here, this is our x-intercept, where the line cuts the x-axis. X-intercept, right? How many units we can buy if we're only buying x? How many units? If we only buy x, how many units we get? Any questions so far, please? How many units we get? Any questions? Mr. James, Madam Justina, Mr. Vigorous? Okay. Then we also have the slope. Okay. The slope of the budget constraint line, which is represented by negative px over py. Okay, this is the slope. Okay. Why it's a negative slope? Because the line is going downwards here. What is this slope telling us? The slope is telling us how many units of y we need to give up to get 1 unit of x. Okay, that is the slope of the budget constraint line. Okay, which is this negative px over py. That's what it means. Okay, well, that's what the slope is telling us. How many units of x we need to give up in order to get 1 unit of y? Okay, and as I said, this is it, negative p x over py. Yes. Any questions, colleagues, before we attempt a question here? All right, let us attempt a question here. A consumer has a fixed monthly income of $600 to spend on 2 goods. Good X and good Y. The price of good X is $10 per unit, and the price of good Y is $20 per unit. Write an equation for the consumer's budget constraint. Okay. So as I said, the concept is you can only buy 2 goods and you've got a certain amount of money. Okay. So our formula, remember, I, which is your income, equals P x plus P y, price of good y, price of good x multiplied by the quantity of good x plus price of good y and quantity of good y. Okay. So every time colleagues, right? Every time you go shopping, just think, because every time you go shopping, you go with a budgeted amount. You say you're going to go to ShopRite, right? You have a budget. You say, okay, I'm going to spend the 2,000 at ShopRite. Okay. So your budget constraint is going to include the price of each good that you're going to buy and how much of that good you're going to get. Okay. So this is a very practical aspect here. Okay. So your income here, they told us $600. Well, let me put it like this here so that it looks proper mathematically. Yes. So our income is $600. Price of good X, $10 per unit. So 10 PX is 10, then you leave this X at 10X plus price of good Y is $20 per unit. So 20 here. Yes. Colleagues, this is the budget constraint equation. Any questions? All right. The next question is, if the consumer spends the entire income on good X, how many units can he buy? What about good Y? Okay, so if you spend your entire income first on good X, okay, how many units can you buy? So remember, it was that intercept here. We spend on good X only, how many units can we buy? This is what the intercept is telling us here. Okay, it's your income over the price of good X. Okay, so you say income I over the price of good X, meaning only buying good X. So income $600, price of good X $10. 600 divided by 10, 60. So 60 units of X. Okay. That's what that X-intercept was telling us. The other way we could have done it, algebraically. We would have just said, okay, you equate Y to 0 since you're not buying any units of Y. So say let Y be 0. When you equate Y for 0, 20 minus 0, it goes away. Then you have 10x equals 600. And then you come to this point where to get the value of X, you divide 600 by 10. Then if the consumer only buys good Y, so you're going to say income over price of good Y. Okay, this is the Y-intercept here. So let's say 600 divided by 20, that gives us 30 units. So if we only buy good Y, we can only buy 30 units of Y. Okay. Or the other way you would have done it, since you're only buying good Y, you just equate X to 0. You equate X to 0, 10 times 0, that is 0. You remain with 20Y equals 600. And to get the value of Y, divide both sides by 20, which we've done here. And you'd get the same answer. Okay. Any questions before we go to part C? next part, draw the budget line for this consumer with good X on the horizontal axis and good Y on the vertical axis. Label intercepts clearly. So you do it like this. Draw a graph. We have our Y-axis here. We have our X-axis. Okay. So once you know your intercepts, it makes life easy. Okay. Our Y-intercept, meaning if we only buy good Y, is 30 units. So on our graph here, we're going to put 30. Our X-intercept, when we only buy good X, is only 60 units. So we're going to put 60. Right. Then you just connect the dots. Okay. You just connect the dots. Okay. That is the budget. That's how you draw a budget constraint line. Okay. That is how it is drawn. Any questions? Just find the X-intercept and the Y-intercept. Okay. Then calculate the slope of the budget line. What does this slope represent? Well, this slope, okay, just like, remember when we look at the indifference curves where we say that our slope is our marginal rate of substitution, our trade-off rate. Even this slope here is also like a trade-off rate because it's telling us how many units. Slope tells us how many units of Y we need to give up to get 1 unit of X. So this is also like the trade-off rate. Okay? But unlike the marginal rate of substitution, you saw it was diminishing. Here, this one is a constant trade-off. That one, our trade-off was decreasing. Okay. So, to get the slope, okay, we're going to say Px over Py. Okay. Negative here. Price of good X, $10. Price of good Y, $20. 20 divided by 10, 0.5. Okay. So what is telling us? We get 1 unit of X, we need to give up 0.5 units of Y. Okay. To get 1 unit, 1 more unit of X, we need to give up 0.5 units of Y. You need to give up 0.5 units of Y. That is what our slope is telling us. So just remember, as we move down this slope, we're giving up y to get x, because we'll be moving towards 60 here. So the further we go down this slope, as we're going down this slope, we're giving up units of y and gaining units of x. Okay, until we give up all our units of y, and then we have all units of x, which is 60 units. So yes, that is the slope. Part B. Suppose the price of good X increases to $15 per unit, while everything else remains the same. Draw the new budget line on the same graph. How does the budget line change? So, X has become $15. Okay, so our new budget constraint, PX, so we're going to have 15 X plus 20y equals 600. And this will be our new budget constraint equation. So our y-intercept will still stay the same, 30 units, okay? Because our y-intercept, remember, still 600 divided by 20. But our new x-intercept, okay, I over px. So I'm going to say 600 divided by 15. So our new x-intercept will be here, 40 units. This is our new budget constraint. The price of good X has increased, so and this in our budget constraint has shifted. We can now buy less of good X. Yes. Any questions, colleagues?